Okay. You ready? Are you ready to talk about the aliens in Mexico? And just to be clear, we're not calling Mexicans aliens.
Oh my God.
We're talking about the actual aliens that they said that they have
Allegedly.
stored,
Yeah.
allegedly, right? Stored in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
How does that alien thing? Well, they clearly don't call themselves aliens. We call themselves aliens when they come here, right? That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Once you cross into the border,
Do other
then now
people
you're
do
aliens. Well, they probably would say another word, right?
that? But the equivalent.
I think.
Saying.
I
Right?
I don't know. I mean, let's have fun with it. Let's say yes. What would you call them? What would you call them in Spanish?
I don't know.
Do they have a term where
I
people
think
like
so.
want to sneak into Puerto Rico?
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't think anyone else has any other titles because no one else is trying to get in somewhere else. Right?
Mm.
Like everyone wants to come here. This is the land of milk and honey.
Mm.
So we create terms to keep people separate from us. But if we were to go over to China, no one's bugging out about us going over to China and trying to like create a lifestyle.
Or in Mexico, we'd be fugitives.
That's what they'll call them?
No, I'm saying that's what people are when they want to go over there typically.
Oh, right. But
what they, I don't know what.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But we're still like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So no, I don't
know.
Yeah, I doubt it. And if you all know something that we don't know, which I'm sure is a lot of shit. Speaking of which, we were wrong about something in the last episode.
About
we said that the Smishmortian joke came from the movie This Is 40, and it didn't. It came from Knocked Up, which was the original version, and This Is 40 branched off from the movie Knocked Up.
Oh yes,
because that was Jonah Hill.
I totally forgot about Knocked Up,
which was easily the better film.
It's so good.
Yeah, right. It was so good. This Is 40 was good. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, you were close.
Close. Same ballpark.
Yeah.
Same.
It came from the same place.
Race of people.
Yeah.
I was gonna say same guy, but it wasn't. It wasn't Seth Rogen. I don't think was in This Is 40. If he was, it might have been a small part, but no, I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Right?
That's too long
ago. We should probably watch it again.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Yeah, you know we should.
But let's have fun with this alien talk.
Okay.
All right. So I'm bringing this up primarily because we talked about aliens. Was it the last episode or the episode before?
So.
Okay, it was within a recent episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after, here we are. Now we see that this is what I found funny. They called him a self-proclaimed UFOologist, right? Which I don't think he's calling himself that if he's speaking Spanish, but maybe in translation it adds up to that. But whatever. What the hell do I know? But I chuckled when I saw the whole self-proclaimed thing because it's almost like they're making a mockery of him, as if there is someone else that holds a similar position, where it's not comical, like where you actually take it serious.
Yeah.
Because how the hell does that work?
Saying that.
Yeah. And I say that because if there are not confirmed aliens here, then anyone that will hold any sort of title like that, whether it's self-proclaimed or it was issued to you by some sort of respectable government like United States of America, then it's bullshit, right?
Right.
It's a made up job unless there is something to support you having that position because you are a UFOologist or an alienologist or whatever the hell you want to call yourself, extraterrestrial, whatever, because there is something for you to ologist, right?
Right.
But if there's nothing for you to do, allegedly, then so what's the difference between self-proclaimed and then given a title officially?
Right.
If there's nothing there. It's
I get
the same shit.
But it's to your point. It was...
Well, and it's because it's not us, right? It was kind of the same conversation that we had. Again, I don't know if it was the last episode or the episode before where we were talking about Dr. Sebi, where if you're outside of the United States and you're doing something that might hold some sort of weight, it's like
that happens here too, though, in regard to like health stuff. Like, because we have those types of doctors here, and they also make a mockery of them too. But that's a whole nother,
Right,
like,
right,
there's a
right,
whole
right, right,
nother
right, right,
reason
right,
for
right, right,
that
right,
when
right,
it
right.
comes to curing shit.
But
But
even if you're a doctor from another country,
yeah,
and you're very well respected within how that country decides to practice, right? You come
or
over
even
here
at
and
the
you're looked at as a
education needed,
correct.
you know,
Even though it's anatomy's anatomy, you're probably doing the
you
same
would think
shit,
so.
whatever, and you probably
But
save
we
plenty of
don't
lives,
know.
but maybe there's something we don't
Yeah.
know, and we don't know shit. But of course, here we are now. Mexico has something that we don't have, and we're making a mockery out of it. Now,
We
just
would have made a mockery if it was from here, if someone
well,
found it here,
well,
just because of
that's
what it is, just because it's
and how
aliens.
they look like they looked very, but I would imagine that if we have been contacted by aliens, and even if it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't us, but our ancestors that were drawing pictures in caves, and the
Mm-hmm.
people look like what those little, three-handed, weird head-shaped things look like,
Mm-hmm.
that was was it a casket? Like, it almost looked like they were in a casket or some sort of whatever the hell they were in, right? In the picture.
Yes, it
Because
looked like it, but I don't
they
think it
look
was. But
very
yeah,
stereotypical
yeah,
alien,
yeah,
right?
like what you would think of, or what we think
Correct,
of.
correct,
Yeah.
right. But we only think of that because that's what was drawn in caves and things like that. So if they did make contact with, and by they I mean the aliens, if they did make contact with our ancient ancestors,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we drew them, then that's how we will continue to draw them moving forward until we're proven otherwise,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so yes, I think that's why it's easy to make a mockery out of it, because it looks so like
Yeah,
really,
like a cartoon.
yeah, and it's fun, and it's just hard to believe, and I think that
Well,
plays a big role in it
because
too.
it's just been drilled in us forever that they're not real. And then they look like this, and they're in movies.
Hmm.
And then they look like that in movies, and
Hmm.
movies aren't real.
Hmm.
And or cartoons, and they're not real. So it's like it's embedded.
Right,
It's hard to separate.
right. Now, to shoot everyone bail that has been making a mockery of this gentleman, and I haven't looked any deeper into it outside of the first date that it was presented.
Mm-hmm.
This particular gentleman, I can't remember his name, but it starts with an M, if I'm remembering anything correctly. He did come out years ago. I want to say 15 years ago, or maybe it was 2015 or 15 years ago, somewhere along in the past. This particular gentleman did state that he had extraterrestrial beings in his possession, and then come to find out they were just some mutated children that had passed away, and he was identifying them as aliens. So he has been discredited before. So now here he is again,
Mm-hmm.
putting himself out in the atmosphere, and probably riding on the coattail of everything else that's been going on with
Right.
extraterrestrials and things like that, and
Or
UAPs,
he's devoted his life to this, and he finally
or that
found what he
too,
was looking
or
for.
that too.
Because that happens too.
Right. If
You
you
know what I
if you
mean?
devote your life to something, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. If you devote your life to something, chances are you're probably going to make errors,
Right.
and until you get it right. You
And
only had to be right
maybe,
one
yeah.
time in
Right.
order to do it. And this could be it. Again, I don't know if anything has come out after the original
Yeah.
article that came out. If there was something that has come out to say, hey, no, this is bullshit.
Well, I'm sure
We were
that's
able
going
to
to
study
take
it and yada
time.
yada yada. Right, because I would imagine in order to really debunk it, you would have to meet with this gentleman. You would have to take samples and make sure that
And
all
that's
the
not going to
DNA
happen
and all
in a
this other
couple weeks.
stuff, it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
Homo sapiens, or any other
Yeah.
different type of models, or what am I saying, like Neanderthals and Denisovans, I think that's what they're called. But there's other versions of humanoids that have
Yeah.
existed on Earth that we know about, and so we would have to rule out it being one of those, right?
Yeah.
So,
But that's going to take time. So,
yeah, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. I wonder what it is, and this is I hate that I feel like my brain goes there, but it only goes there because it's been kind of coincidental that any time they release something like that to get us talking, it's because they're trying to get us to stop talking about something
for
else.
sure.
So when I saw that, that was the very first thing I could think of is what are they covering up? And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that I can think of would be something that took place in the in within the U.S. states, Hawaii, right, and that disastrous fire that took place that pretty much devastated an entire island,
Mm-hmm.
and that really hasn't gotten the attention that I feel like it deserves, considering those are our people that are clearly in rough shape.
Yeah.
And then when I did do some digging and looking into it, there's a lot of underhanded business that looks like it's taking place, like some shady business that's taking place regarding that island that was devastated by the fires. You know what I'm talking about, correct?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't. What do you mean shady business?
Okay. So right now it's in talks that the government is basically trying to take over that land that has been destroyed and make it theirs and turning it into a memorial. Essentially taking over all the land that all those homeowners own and
Mm-hmm.
all that other stuff, and they're just going to pay them off basically pennies, which is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. They're
Mm-hmm.
really not going to do anything for them, and then supposedly try to set them up with land on a big island. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what that land looks like, who knows? But
Well, it's not gonna be probably comparable or better for sure. You're gonna get
it
less.
usually isn't.
Yeah.
It usually
Yeah.
isn't. It's going to be something that's going to be in their benefit because they're
Of
going to be looking out for
course.
their best interest, and
Right.
it just it's shitty that it has
And
to be
when you
like
have
that.
nothing, sometimes you just got to take what the fuck
But that's the
they're
fucked up part
handing to you.
is that these people do have something. They have land that has been pretty much destroyed by
Right.
a fire, but it's more than likely something from what I understand that they can build back on top of and, get
Mm-hmm.
their lives back in one way or another. Obviously with help from, I don't know, maybe the government who has
Yeah.
been very generous with helping out another country,
Yeah.
Ukraine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sending billions and billions of dollars over that way.
Mm-hmm.
Why not send billions over to Hawaii, over to this island in order to
Mm-hmm.
support our people to get them back on their feet? Which I'm no economist, and so maybe I don't have a full understanding of exactly the ins and outs and what the benefits would be, or if there might not be benefits, like whatever side effects would be of it. But I would imagine that if money does go that way in order to help these people rebuild, not only are you putting your own citizens back in their homes, right, to fuel the economy and provide to the economy by way of paying taxes like they have been doing before with tourism and jobs or whatever it may be, but you're also creating jobs just to rebuild, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
you're creating shit ton of jobs, which are in turn is just going to help everybody, right?
Right.
But instead it appears, and I don't know if anything has shifted since then, but or since last week, but it appears that the government is trying to take that destroyed island over and turning it to a memorial.
I don't know what because I've never looked into this before, but I
Mm-hmm.
think they already had issues on Maui with people trying to like take the land or buy the land. There was something happening before, I think also. So I think it's pretty deep.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't understand it entirely, but on
yeah.
a surface level, I know that if you want to buy land there, you have to be a native to buy land there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of loopholes
Mm-hmm,
there
mm-hmm.
because you hear about big tech. I can't remember who it is, but it's some major player within big tech, and he owns one of the islands
Yeah, I
there
don't know.
somehow. It's weirdo
No, but I
shit.
know that Hawaii does have their issues with that. Yeah.
And it's just messing over the people that
Mm-hmm.
are there. But I think that they kind of play a part in it too, because anytime money's involved, it's easy. Everything has a price.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has a price.
Right.
And so from what I understand, one of the loopholes is you're able to purchase land if you uh, do it by way of making a deal with one of the natives there. It's a weird
Mm.
loophole or some. I wish I understood it because I sound like a fucking idiot. But
we don't know the
yeah,
full details.
yeah. But there are ways to go about
Yeah.
doing it. So there's that. Yeah. Relate this week. Relate. We didn't even intro this podcast. It's the Feelings First Facts of the podcast. Nathan Mitchell and Christina,
Hey.
who is hotter than a Haitian home right now. You know what I'm saying?
What
Well,
does that mean? Like
hot,
temperature?
like hot, like you're hot and you're hotter than a Haitian home.
Oh.
You didn't?
I was like, what are you referring to? Because you don't talk to me like that. And then
Oh,
it is hot. Like I am kind of sweaty.
don't say it's hot in here because these cameras would catch on it and they'll be like,
what?
But yeah, I think that's a good compliment because those homes are hot. Hot. And I was not referring to you wearing the hoodie. I was referring to your looks, by the way. But if any of you have never been inside of a Haitian's home, let me tell you this right now.
So
it
fucked
is
up.
hot as shit. And in Florida, which it feels like right now where we live, we're fortunate enough to be the hub for where people like to come after they leave Haiti. Don't shake your head. You need to nod and you need to be thankful that you get to share the road with these people that do not inconvenience you in any kind of way.
The
right?
road. Where you sent me that picture you sent me today. Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll talk about
Wow.
that crazy ass picture. But in Florida is hot and Florida is also very, very humid. And
For those that don't know,
the people of this
which I think people
culture
know.
do not like to turn their ACs on.
But they're also used to that.
You know what? I felt the same way until I saw my patient sweating like that Jordan Peele meme. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes.
She looked like that doing the exercises. So she might be accustomed to being in a hot home, but she was certainly not comfortable. Like her body was saying, we're not okay with this. Now,
But she still didn't give in.
she did not give in.
Yeah,
Didn't turn
so
the fan
then-
on, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do not get it, but it is very inconvenient for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I understand, okay, I'm going into someone's home, so I should just respect their home. But I do also think there should be some grace given to the idea of respecting a guest and their level of comfort, right? But
well, especially
who the hell
when
am I?
we live somewhere where
It's hot and humid.
air conditioning is just a standard here.
Isn't it a law? Like
Yeah.
if
Well, heat is for sure. I don't know about AC.
I feel like in Florida, like if you're a homeowner and you have tenants in your home and your AC goes down,
Yeah.
you have to fix that
You
as the
do.
homeowner, and
Yeah,
you have
you
a
do.
certain time frame.
Well,
before,
even like when I rented an apartment, like they had to, because I had AC problems and they have to fix it. And if they can't fix it, they need to bring you like that. They brought like portable units and stuff.
Right.
Like they can't leave you without AC for a certain period of
right,
time.
because it's not even a comfort thing; it's also a sanitary thing because mold, because of the humidity and yada yada
Yeah.
yada. Yeah, but to their credit, and this is kind of where you were getting at. I can respect anybody. I can. Like, I have a respect for anyone
Mm-hmm.
that has found a way to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because she was clearly uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but she was okay with it.
I know you
And
respect that.
that takes some kind of discipline. But with that, to go back to where I was talking about, where I was saying that there should be some sort of respect given to respecting the guest and how they may or may not feel. I do not like walking into a home that smells like people. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe
it's not
they
to
don't
say
look
that
at you
not
as
to
a
say that they're
guest.
funky or they stink or anything like that. But when you walk into a hot, humid home, it
Mhm.
smells like people.
Yeah.
And then it also smells like whatever the fucking tortoise foot that they've been slow
Oh my
cooking
God.
all day long.
That's so disrespectful.
Christ.
Jesus. Wow.
Let me get off. Let me get off. Give me. When I saw what I saw today, and I sent it, you the text or the little picture. I wish there was a way that I can post it so people can see what I'm talking about,
I
so they
think
know
you
I'm not tripping.
can. Can't you?
Like maybe link it
Like
to.
anything.
Well, I mean, I could post it on Instagram.
Okay.
So if I remember to do it, I'll do it. Or if you see a wild ass picture of a car that looks like it shouldn't be on the road, this is what I'm talking about. But I'm in Publix. A woman with confidence parks in the Publix parking spot. I was going to say something weird. I was going to say like parking lot, but parking spot. It's not a parking lot. Parking spot.
But
Right?
she parked in the parking lot.
Is it a parking lot?
Well, she's
You're right.
in the spot in the lot.
In the
so
spot
I thought you were just
in the
saying
lot.
she
What
was
what
in
are
the
you,
parking lot.
fucking Dr. Seuss?
You're the one being weird about it.
Because it's
What?
it's past my bedtime.
Clearly.
It's past my bedtime.
The fuck is
And
happening?
we're trying to get something out right now. So here we go. No. But yes, with confidence, she parks in the spot in the parking lot, and her car looked fucking crazy. As soon as I saw this car, there aren't cops don't care. Cops in Florida are the reason why we have stories about Florida man. We have all this
Because where
wild
are
shit that
they?
happens.
Where are they when you need them?
But
Where
they're
are
there.
they, though?
They're there.
But
I'm on the
where?
road all day long.
I don't see cops like that, though.
No, I
Not
see them.
enough.
I see them, but they're not doing shit. They're just driving around. Maybe they're commuting, going home or whatever,
Yeah.
but they're not stopping anything. They're
No.
not stopping anyone speeding. I have seen people speed past a cop, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to see how this turns out. Because I get joy whenever I see people get caught doing some foul shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nope, cop just whatever. But this woman, her front bumper, you couldn't see it in the picture, so you're not gonna be able to see it in the picture that I took, but her front bumper is completely gone. There's no headlights, no nothing. So that alone is already, it's got to be illegal, right? To drive with no headlights.
Yeah.
Even for the purposes of signaling, like that's a safety
Right. Well,
thing.
like your tail lights and headlights can't even be out, let alone
Right.
just not on the car.
These were gone. They were not there.
Yeah.
And her window looked like she smashed into a human being.
Yeah.
And that person, like in the movies where they hit it and they bounce off, like it was dented in and
Not even bounce off. This doesn't look like a bounce off. This
that it was
looked
just there.
This looked like somebody's body had to be pulled out of there.
It looks
It wasn't a bounce off.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so there's no way that she can safely see out of this
No.
windshield.
Or
And
what if that thing just collapses in while she's fucking driving and she causes some sort of fucking accident?
I now I know that we don't have a mechanics. What do they call it here or up north? They call it like a mechanics hold or a mechanics something. But in Ohio, if your car is not safe to be on the road, the mechanic can actually possess your car temporarily. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you can't get your car back in your possession until
we
get
don't have that. Clearly.
whatever needs to be fixed. So let's say you went to go get an oil change, but and they checked your brakes and your brakes were just completely fucked up. And it was just like, there's no way that you're braking safely. Then they can, this was a thing in Ohio. So I don't know if it's a thing now, but they can actually retain your car until you decide to get it repaired. Now, you don't have to get it repaired there, but if you're going to get it repaired somewhere else, then you got to get it towed because you can't, they can't put you back on the road.
I can see how that could have ended in some crooked shit, though, where people might have had a problem with that.
Well, if it's something like that, then it's objective enough to where they, okay, well, we need to see it. So if you call the cops or whatever, but anyway, I can't wrap my head around this person gets clearly into an auto accident that it looks like they caused, right?
And someone may or may not have lived.
Right. So if the police were involved, you would think they would tow this vehicle, right? There's no way the police will go, hey, ma'am, is it
the police
operable?
Weren't involved.
So if they're not, this woman's driving around and no one is stopping this person. Because even if the police were involved and they ended up towing her vehicle, you would think that they couldn't just let you just drive this thing off knowing that you can't see out of the
What
windshield.
Publix was this?
This was in Ocoee.
Okay.
Now, yeah, but now okay, it was Ocoee, but not the one off of Clark. It was the one off of
I'm not familiar with
Good
that
Homes.
area. Okay.
Good Homes. Yeah. Pushing in the Winter Garden. Yes. Gee.
That was bad.
You know what? I'm going to sound real misogynistic when I say this, but that's a great argument to maybe women just shouldn't be driving.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I give pushback only because you started talking. Was she Haitian?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm like that collectively men or women, because we've seen crazy shit with Haitian male drivers.
Yeah.
So
I kid you not, and people are probably thinking I'm just making this shit up as I go, but I swear to you I'm not. I saw this today as I was driving home because I was inconveniently stopped at a green light because a funeral was going by on the other side, which is so fucking annoying. But ironically enough, the people that are following the hearse, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're following the hearse. They're driving, and the passengers are sitting outside the window, it's just hood nigga shit, right? And they're like, where they can fall out of the vehicle and die. And it's not like they were going slow. They were being generous enough and just getting it out of the way. But there were a lot of people, like whoever died was popping. Clearly. Because there were, the train of cars was crazy. And there were 4 people to each car, and everyone's hanging out, ass hanging out. It just, just going nuts. And I couldn't help but to think, where the fuck are the cops? Where are they? Where?
Don't sometimes they have to lead those things?
Well, they did it their way. They did it their way, and they made it so where even if you wanted to cut it off, you couldn't cut it off because they were close enough, dangerously close enough that you couldn't really squeeze through.
Yikes!
But I hate that shit. But no, but it wasn't like you would think where, you know, there's a car with a little light on the top and they're blocking everyone. No. They didn't have that kind of setup. They just all agreed, hey, we're just gonna run every single red light. So
what if it wasn't really? What if nobody died?
Well, then I mean, and
again, to your point, where are the cops?
Sure enough, they did on the road where there's a red light camera. So I don't know how that's gonna play out, but yeah, where are the police? It's wild. This is why Florida is the way it is because it's the Wild Wild West. Yeah. No one's paying attention. No one gives a shit. But ironically enough, last night, how many cops did we see last night? Late last night, we saw like 20 of them hanging out.
Oh yeah.
Hanging out.
Like, what are we talking about? Yeah,
nothing was going on.
No,
wasn't any violence, nothing crazy. They were hanging out right outside of downtown, not being off duty cops either because they were far enough out of downtown where they weren't really doing what you would think they would be doing. They were just chilling outside the car, and then later on they were just speeding on the road. It's crazy. It's it is what it is. Speaking of women, I read an article about women getting a version of blue balls called blue vulva. Have you ever felt anything like that before? You were experiencing anything like that? About. So don't you know blue balls?
I know
guys get if they've reached maximum erection, but they're referring to maximum arousal.
Okay.
And then nothing comes of it. Like you don't climax with your maximum arousal. You just kind of left hanging. They say that women can get the same thing, and it's called blue vulva. This is a thing. I looked it up. And then I Googled it, and it was confirmed that women. There's been cases of women getting blue vulva. How many
cases?
I don't know.
That's such
you know what it is. You know what it is. I wonder if it was trans women. But they said a vulva.
I've never heard of anything like that ever.
Never felt it. Never.
Why would I be optimally aroused and then nothing happens? What?
Yeah, it's kind of your fault, right? At that point,
I can't even like
if you're with
create a scenario where that
if you're with a guy and you're maximally aroused and it's about to be game time, but then it doesn't happen, I mean, that's usually your fault, right? The
I
woman's
don't
fault.
know. I'm having a hard time with that one.
Okay.
And when you say my fault, what do you mean?
Because it would be the woman that's saying no to sex.
None of this makes any sense. No to sex?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking arousal.
Arousal.
No.
So it's never happened. It's made up.
It sounds made up to me.
I
would love to hear, from other women.
I'm not arguing against you saying it's made up because I've never heard of a woman say that they have had like pains, sex pains, or lack thereof pain.
So what is it exactly? What happens?
Well, blood rushes into the area when you're aroused for males and females alike, right? And because you didn't reach climax in order to
You know what's fucking me up? This is where I'm getting confused. If I'm that aroused, we're already in the situation. I'm already there.
You've never been super aroused and you're not there?
No. From what?
From
Aroused
the idea
from what?
of it happening.
From like thinking about it?
Like you're ready to go. Or foreplay.
What? Then okay. Or foreplay, then okay. Then I'm there and something's about to pop out. Like what?
Yeah, but what if it doesn't happen? Like no. Watch this. What if foreplay happens?
I have never thought about
with zero orgasm or zero like you felt like you.
But if I'm almost there, that means that's the hardest part. So that's why I'm confused. For me to get that aroused that I'm about to come.
No. It doesn't mean that you're like there, like not like you're on the edge and you're about to jump off. It's not saying that, but it's saying like you thought sex was gonna happen.
Okay.
Like blue balls.
I guess in what world is this really happening to women?
Well, okay, watch this. I've never gotten blue balls before. I've never felt pain or discomfort from not having, Now I've felt pain or discomfort because I've had a hard on too long. But that is usually because if I'm just getting like a night boner, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'll wake up and I'm uncomfortable because it's been blood in there for too long. And I don't know how long it's been. Right. And now I got to try to get this thing down. But in terms of it's like sex, yeah, I don't think just maybe when I was a child, but as an adult, there's never been a time where I'm just hard and I'm not having sex.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Right. If I'm that aroused.
I see what you're saying.
Like, I'm never like sitting on the couch and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh God, there's blood rushing. What am I going to do? Oh God, if he's not going to do it, I got to take care of myself. What?
No,
what?
Goofnut. What I'm saying is,
what?
No. The scenario would look like this. If you think it's gonna go down,
why wouldn't it go down though?
Well, that's
for
what I'm saying.
Woman?
That's what I'm saying. It will be your fault if it doesn't go down. More than likely,
it wouldn't because a guy.
No. Because a guy, if it doesn't go down, right, that wouldn't always be up to us.
That's what I'm saying. If a woman is that aroused, why wouldn't it happen?
Well, supposedly, according to this article and according to Goggle, it happens to women, and they get something called blue vulva.
It's a lie.
Okay.
It's a lie.
I'm cool with it.
It's bullshit.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Women aren't even getting aroused like that, period, or orgasming like that, period, let alone so many women. Or that's not even a thing.
Listen.
That's not a thing.
Listen, I was just asking a question and I wanted to confirm, and now you're speaking for every single woman ever on the planet.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. I
No,
would
no,
love to
no.
hear about it.
I'm
I
100%
would
okay with
love
you
to
being a
hear it.
spokesperson for women. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I promise.
I've never heard of that before. And then I'm trying
I've
to
never heard of it.
understand how, and I'm having a really hard time.
And I've heard of blue balls. I've heard of people
But
say it.
I understand that though. And I understand those scenarios and I understand how that could happen.
But you know what? I'll be honest with you. Even with that, I thought that was just a saying. Blue balls, like I thought it was just a saying. Like I never knew it was an actual thing because I've never felt it. Like I've never been so hard and then it didn't happen because I'm not.
Look at you bragging.
No. I'm not saying that every time I've gotten hard, it's happened. But what I'm saying is that I don't just walk into the room like solid hard. You see what I'm saying?
That's why I'm having such a hard time with this, applying it to a woman.
Like if I'm hard, it's because like, I know I'm about to go in something, a mouth, a vagina, something. Like it's gonna happen. That's what my hand.
Right. Something. Right. That's why I'm having such a hard time with that.
Like I've certainly been in scenarios where I've been with a woman and I thought it was very obvious that we were going to have sex and then it didn't happen. But I wasn't like,
to
doing
the
this.
point where then you were in pain and
it never happened. And then I'm like, oh gosh, no. Like, no, that's never been a thing. That's never been a thing. But it's been a thing in the middle of the night if I wake up and I'm having, a nighttime erection, just maintenance shit.
No, I get it. I understand.
Then it's uncomfortable. But I never felt it in my balls. It's like where the blood is, which is in my dick. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had like hurt dick or sore dick.
Sore dick, is that a thing?
But
is that blue balls?
Maybe. I don't know. But it's never been my balls hurt.
Maybe it's just called that.
That's why I always thought it was just a saying, period. Like, oh, I got blue balls. It's like I knew what it meant. Like you thought it was gonna go down, but it didn't go down.
Literally.
And then she left you hanging, right? Yeah. But I never knew it was an actual thing where people felt pain. But according to this article, it is a thing where people actually feel pain, and so do women. Okay. Or maybe this is just one of those things where just women just want to be included in every fucking thing. Right. So it's like, we do too. You're not the only ones. And my argument to that would be, bitch, that's your fault. That's your fault. If you didn't have sex, it's probably your fault.
Oh, God.
Right?
Listen.
What do I know? I'm just a nigga from Cleveland. I don't know. I don't know shit. I can't even get my movies right. How the hell do I know about this? I don't even know if I've been saying vulva right. I could be,
vulva.
You know what I'm saying?
Is it a blue vulva?
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the
because when you said it, like it didn't register. Like that can't be right. That sounds so crazy. And I'm like, say it again because maybe I misunderstood.
And to be clear, they did add some science to it. The reason why they call it blue is because it's representing the unoxygenated blood and yada yada yada.
And snooze fest.
That's what it said. And so that's why your vulva gets into. Okay. All right. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that funny ass what do you want to call it? Meme Instagram page that you sent me with why'd you break up with your man? Yada yada.
No, we have to quote this properly because you can't wing this one because it was really good.
Okay, so shout out to Mufasba. Am I saying it right?
I've never really sat there and like try to pronounce the name of the page. I just follow it because the content is great.
I thought possibly some Spanish shit, and I was just saying it wrong.
No, she's black.
But it looks like
I have no idea how to pronounce this.
Mufasba. Spell it for the people out there.
Start over. Mufashdia.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Funny as shit.
Yeah, it was just a post with different slides. And the question was, what's the smallest reason you dubbed a man? And then the person says, I'll go first. He ordered a small beverage. That's pretty funny.
Right.
And then so there's women replying to it.
Right.
Why they dubbed somebody.
Right. So go to the one that says the chicken nuggets. That one was hilarious.
Chicken nuggets or the chicken. This one I liked. It's the chicken nuggets.
Uh-huh.
The chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
The 10-piece. He changed my 10-piece wing to a 5-piece.
So that one had me like, all right, because I could see some broke nigga doing some shit like that, and that's grounds to just move on.
Yeah, and then this one I like. We were on the subway and he lost his balance and wobbled. Something about that didn't sit right with me.
Nah. But the funniest one to me, go. Can you read the funniest one? The one with the
this one I like. He opened his mouth to catch some shrimp the chef was throwing out at Sticks. Yes. I guess wherever Sticks is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm not catching anything.
This one's the one you liked. We were out eating at a busy restaurant and he dropped some red sauce on his shirt and stained a small part of it, which is all right. Whatever, things happen. But then he shouted out, "Dang it."
That is
this is what we're
crazy.
dealing with.
That had me in tears. Does shit like that happen? I wish
this is not made up.
I wish you'd be honest about your dating life and you could tell me.
Well, I didn't because I wish I had dated more, so I had better stories.
Oh, I thought you were saying like explore better options. No. I was like, oh yeah, she's coming. She's cutting deep today.
No. Like I had the worst experience. Granted, I just wasn't single very long, but like I had awful experiences. So I was like, it was a total turnoff for me. I could never I don't know how people do it. It's crazy out there.
That would be a fun podcast to have. Somehow.
I have somebody who would have great stories for that.
Yeah, just
a serial dater. Yeah,
just have someone on.
She has stories.
Yeah, just telling crazy ass stories.
I have the perfect person in mind. Oh. She'd probably be down.
Just here's some things. This is what's out there.
Yeah,
and you know that could be motivation for anyone. It's like your relationship isn't bad. You just just kind of getting bored with it and just feel like I've been doing it for a long time. It's like, okay, well look, this is what's out there.
Yeah.
The chances of you running into something like this are very high.
Very high.
Very high.
Yeah, this is what we were dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. But there was another post that you shared with me, and I thought it was a really interesting post, and it was in regards to people. Wait. Let me straighten that up. All right. Take 2. You ready? Go. Welcome to the podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the No. But there was another post that you sent me that I thought was really interesting, and it was a couple. Do they do a podcast together or? So
he is a comedian who I came across. Who he was a guest on a podcast talking about relationships, and I had you. He was on Spicy Maddie.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I followed him.
Okay.
And so evidently he has his own podcast.
Okay.
And then his wife will sometimes get on there with him.
Gotcha.
So he's married.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So
and that's what it was.
Put everything together now. Okay.
Yeah.
And they had a discussion that was about the idea of, is it more important or what's more important, living together before marriage or waiting until you get married before you move in with one another? Or they
were almost like, what's right or wrong?
Okay.
It felt like, yeah.
Right. And they were both on the side of being married before you decide to live together. And one of the main reasons is they were saying that you basically you're giving a person the milk, so why buy the cow? Kind of
which I think would be people who feel that way. That would be the argument, I think.
Right. And so I'm on the other side of the fence. However, I don't want to say that I disagree with them because it's obviously all of it is 100% opinion based in how you choose to live your life and yada yada yada. And I'm willing to bet that for some people that works, and then for other people they might see it a little bit differently. And maybe I'm just biased because we're in a situation where we're not married, but we live together, and so I'm just kind of siding with that idea because it's
our situation.
But even before that, and you and I, we've had plenty of conversations about the idea of living together or just living with the person that you're with prior to proposing and being married to them for purposes of actually getting to know that person, because that's usually when that happens.
Yeah.
Because of that idea, then I'm 100% on the side of I think it's in your best interest to try things out before you decide to overcommit to something, or just
Yeah.
commit to something that might not actually be your vibe, your groove, or might not actually work.
I understand both sides.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm not opposed to living together before
Mhm.
marriage. Um, I don't think I could marry someone I haven't lived with, but
Mhm.
I understand where people are coming from.
100%.
And there is truth to it, or there could be, because it's just like living with someone is hard.
Mhm.
So it's, I think, important to have that you're committed, you're in this now, we're gonna get through this.
Mhm.
Versus, oh, we're just kind of like we're living, we're feeling it out. So as soon as some shit hits the fan, I'm out the door, motherfucker, because we're not married anyway. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
and from a woman's perspective, I can see that if you feel like you're giving him wife treatment
Mhm.
without the title,
Mhm.
that some men might be comfortable, and that might always be the case too. They might feel like, why would I propose? So I can understand where
Right.
people are coming from.
Right. So I want to express why I'm against the idea of living together before marriage. I'm sorry. Why I'm against the idea of waiting till marriage before you move in with one another,
Okay.
right? The number one reason is I think that idea is an antiquated idea that was put in motion a long, long time ago, well before the the world that we live in today, where things just are completely different than what they were before. I think that was put in place in order to A, protect women, right? But B, it aligned with what was going on then. And that was when we lived in an era where there were gender roles and people were sticking to those gender roles, right?
Yeah.
A man did the role of the provider and the woman did the role of housekeeping,
Hmm.
right? And so it was obviously important to get married before you moved in. Legal purposes. I don't even think that was legal back then to do so. Like I want to say in Florida for years, like just recently, it became legal to live with someone that you're not married to.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a recent thing. Obviously, they weren't locking people up for it,
Yeah.
but just the
I see.
laws, the way
Yeah,
the
I see.
laws work, it was just a legal thing. And I think that the legal thing was put in place in order to make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. And again, I think a lot of it was to protect women
Hmm.
from what you were saying, guys getting whatever they want, and then you could just get rid of this bitch whenever you want to get rid of her, because
Yeah.
there's nothing to
Yeah.
protect her and your assets, right? So it's like kind of done.
Hmm.
Let's move on and let's get someone else in, right? But that really worked when everyone was playing their position, because even when you ran into issues, nothing, no issue was bigger than the idea of what would happen if you ended this marriage or ended this relationship, right? And I say that to say women weren't working, right?
Yeah.
It was the guy that was bringing in the money, and he would bring home the money to the woman, and the woman would handle everything, and she kept the house, kept up, because he's out of the house all day long.
Yeah.
Might not come home until dinner time because he's been working his ass off all day long, right? And so he needs the woman there in order to get the meals prepared,
Take care of
take care
children.
of the
Uh-huh.
children,
Clean the
iron,
house.
clean the house,
Iron
clean
his
the clothes,
underwear.
iron, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So there was this thing where I need you and you need me,
Yeah.
right? So we're gonna get married, we're gonna live in this house together, and we're gonna stick together, because more than likely we don't even have time to dislike one another, because we're not really around one another. And then when we
And
are
it
around one
wasn't
another,
about that either. It
right?
wasn't about that. It
It
was
was
survival.
right. It was for
Yeah.
survival, and it was for continuing the legacy,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
I chose a woman with some genes that I want to.
And the image, that was important.
Correct.
At a certain age, you're expected to be doing certain things, and being married was one of them.
Right. And that's not to say that there weren't any piece of shit dudes back then that weren't doing their things, or there weren't annoying ass women back then, right? It's not. It's not
You You came a little hard on that one.
I'm misogynistic Mitch today. It's going down. It's going down. So and
There was
just
a
to be
lot of
clear,
emphasis on
just to be
that.
clear, anything that I say moving forward, I hope that this podcast is a safe zone for me. And after we're done recording, it doesn't get held against
Okay.
me. Right?
All
We're
right.
good. So I can be
Okay.
all the
I haven't
misogynistic
agreed to that.
Mitch that I want to
I
be.
don't know.
I felt like you agreed, right? no, but okay. No, but I felt that even though there were people that weren't good people and weren't good people to the people that they were with, I think for the most part, you might not have even been to that level because there wasn't enough time probably spent between couples, right? And then you just see people just stick together because, again, we're talking about a need. A need is there. Now, here we are in 2023 where we've pretty much killed the nuclear family, right? It's kind of and then we've certainly killed gender roles. It doesn't really exist in most relationships. I'm sure there are relationships out there that are a little bit more traditional, but for the most part, it's not like that. At least no one that I know, or no one that I know who you get what I'm saying? Like it's not a thing, right? I'm around women that are successful. You're successful. It just is what it is. So men don't need women. Women don't need men. Even in terms of, who's keeping up the house, who's doing what. I know for our relationship, it's kind of, I don't need you to wash my clothes or take care, things like that. And you don't need me to provide for you and things like that. Yes, we still have our things that we do in order to keep some sort of balance in a relationship. So, you don't feel like that, you're wearing a dick in the house, and I don't feel like I'm the bitch in the house. You see what I'm saying? Right. Not to call you a bitch, but you get what I'm saying?
I know, yes.
No. No, but where was I? Yeah, I just got violent there for no reason.
Yeah, you just blacked out.
Yeah, it's time. No, but because there aren't really gender roles now, I feel like that there isn't that necessarily there isn't that need to keep the woman safe anymore, to where because you can function on your own, I can function on my own. Then now we're treading in these territories where maybe it is even more important for you to live with this person before you're together, is because there isn't that need glue there to keep this thing together.
Now it's strictly, are you compatible?
Are we cool? Are we friends?
Yeah,
do we
like
fuck with
each
other? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Do we want to be around each other?
All the fucking time.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Oh, the fuck. No. Because...
And how are we going to navigate the day-to-day reality of cohabiting with another adult,
right,
who is used to doing their own shit?
Right.
Because when people finally do come together, they have spent a lot of time alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you've already developed habits.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like back in the day where you were basically a kid leaving your parents' house to then finish growing up with another person.
Right.
So you could just, do shit together.
And everything makes sense.
No, we're talking about you've been alone a long time. You've lived with other people. You're used to doing things a certain type of way. And now, can we do that together? Like, you have to figure that out.
You all probably diet completely different.
So
you all are on completely different schedules.
Right. Can we even share a room or a bathroom? How many bathrooms are available in the house?
Right.
Just in case you don't want to fuck with. Like, it's so real.
Watch this. It could be as simple as this, right? My alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready to shake and move at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm ready to shake and move at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That could fuck with you. Now you haven't told me, but that could fuck.
And sometimes it does. But it hasn't been to the point where it's like, I don't want you in the room. But there have been mornings where I can't go back to sleep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so I could see a world where it might be like, God damn, I can't fucking be in the room with this person anymore because it's fucking up my sleep. Now,
Right.
I try my hardest to wake up before my alarm clock.
Yeah.
As of late, I have not been able to do that because I've just been fucking physically
I know.
and mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm
I know.
dead. I'm fucking dead. And when that alarm goes off, it's like,
I know.
it's jolting, right?
Yeah.
But before that, I was able to wake up before it and just kind of cut it off
Uh-huh.
because my body just knows it's time to get up. But
Yeah.
I can see a world where you can make a solid argument to where it's messing up your livelihood
Yeah.
being in the same room as me. And the alternative doesn't look good at all. Like, I can't just go, okay, well, I'm just not going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning anymore because
No.
I'm been doing that. Like, I'm used to waking up early. I'm used to getting up and going to the gym and
It's a
getting my day
lifestyle
rolling.
for you.
It's my
Yeah.
it's my life. So
Mhm.
how do we find compromise? Like, what
Right.
does that look like? I go to sleep with headphones on, maybe, but that can't be healthy at all. Just
Right.
have your ear holes
Or
stretched
some
out all night
people
long.
would be like, we're sleeping in separate rooms. That's a thing. I knew a married couple
Listen, I ain't
who had
mad
a
at that.
very successful marriage,
Uh-huh.
and they had separate rooms.
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
It's
They
like
had separate all the spaces.
right.
Now they would come together, obviously.
Yes.
But it's just like then when it's bedtime,
Right.
he went to
Hey,
his room and she went to her room.
bye.
They didn't share bathrooms, so there was no problem
Yeah.
about you do this, I don't like that. Like,
But that's a modern day thing. And
yeah.
and to what your argument is that it comes from a place because we have lived completely separate lives for a good amount of time
Mhm.
before we're deciding to make this thing collide and jive and work together.
Right.
It's not, in my opinion, it's not a good thing to do blindly. And by blindly, I mean you already commit to being with this human being and you don't even really know this human being. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason why the happiest time you would ever be in your relationship. Well, not ever,
Babe.
but no,
Oh my
no.
God.
Okay, not ever. But it's the happiest, like one of the happiest times that you would be in your relationship is going to be when the relationship first starts, because it's new, it's exciting, everything's fucking great. And in that honeymoon phase,
Mhm.
right? And then after that, that's when things get real. Now, that's not to say that things need to go into the toilet. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you
I'm-
can't lie. That's the
I'm
peak.
listening.
That's the peak.
I'm listening.
And then once you start to be with this person and things kind of, at least things flatten out, right?
Mhm.
Again, it doesn't mean it's going to have to be this downward slope, but if this is the peak, it's going to dip down a little bit. Realistically, it's going to dip down a little bit, and then it's going to peak. And then from there, you're going to have your ebbs and flows where you might, you're establishing a family together, and it's like, okay, boom. And then, then it kind of comes down a little bit. And then and sometimes it might tank because you have a disagreement on, whatever the fuck it may be. And now it's just doing this thing. It's doing this thing. And in a perfect world, you'll be able to get into that balance of up, down, and then smooth.
Yeah.
It's not down, 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 down.
Well,
It's not
or
a
it is,
tank.
and then you're like,
Or
it's
it
time
is.
to go.
And
Yeah,
let's
it's
be
done.
real. We've seen the statistics, right?
Yeah.
It's a coin flip if it's
Yeah.
gonna fucking work out or not. It's probably worse now, right? Years ago it was 50-50. It's probably, I don't know. I don't
We
know
could
what
leave it
is.
at 50-50, which is
But
still
let's just say,
terrible. Yeah.
just for purposes of dramatic, take a coin out of your pocket, flip it in the fucking air,
Mhm.
and call heads or tails. That is your chance if your relationship is going to be successful or not.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking scary.
Yeah.
So I would think it's important to hedge your bets and at least test drive the car before you buy it. It just makes sense. And I'm not talking, well, I mean, sex is important too, but fuck all that. Put that
No,
aside.
yeah.
Put that aside.
Yeah.
Because that to me, yes, you can make an argument. It's
That's its
important to have.
own
but that's-
category. We're talking about
whatever.
real life, day to day,
Mm-hmm.
the regular shit, which
Right.
is the shit that I think makes or breaks,
Right.
honestly, because it's the shit you do the most. The
100%.
regular shit.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're doing every fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, traditionally, if we lived in this world where and it can make sense, I could see the argument to, hey, it's important to commit to this person because you don't want to get complacent, and then now this person doesn't want to go all the way and marry because they don't see a reason and what would it change and blah, 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 blah. But my argument to that would be that motherfucker wasn't going to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because what are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying? That because
That's
you're
a
playing
hard one for women to
house?
swallow, I think, but there's I feel like there's truth to that.
Because you're playing house. You're saying that that's the best part to the man in a relationship is the fucking wifely, house, womanly duties or whatever the fuck you want to call it. No. The best part was before all that, when he was fucking you in the very beginning. That's the best part. Not, and maybe I'm missing something because it's not like, and this is no knock on you, but it's not like I'm getting my clothes clean and folded and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I'm being pampered and you fucking give me bubble baths and sing me songs.
Yeah, if I
and
didn't
yada,
have a
yada, yada.
full-time job, I'd be down for all that.
Oh, okay.
But that's where we go, like, what, you know what I'm saying? That's
Right. And that's no knock on you because you know me. I don't even
Right.
want that shit. It
Right.
would make me so fucking uncomfortable. Right. I just wouldn't even know what
Yeah.
to do with it.
Yeah.
But what the fuck is house? What is that?
Yeah.
Huh? Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this right now. I'm gonna say it. In 2023, the healthiest relationship could look like this. And obviously if there's children involved, then it just completely changes things because it would just get really fucking weird. But before you're having children, you and your person not only have separate rooms, you have separate fucking homes. Because then you get the flyest version of this fucking person all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Right? You live in your house. I live in my house. I live in my stink. You live in your stink or whatever the fuck it may be. And whenever we want to hang out, we hang out because we're jovial. We're ready to hang out. We want to be around people. In those days, if we're just not feeling the best, we just stay home. Now, you don't have to get my negative energy. I don't have to get your negative energy, even if it's coming from someone else, you know, or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't have to ever feel like, well, is she mad at me? Did I do this? Did I not do that?
Yeah.
No. You're just upset because it's just, you know, whatever. And then vice versa. I'm just upset because of whatever. And I'm not bringing it around you and I'm not taking you down. It's like, you see what I'm saying? That is the fucking shit. And then you can still get married. You can still do, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're getting the best version of the person
You
because you are
wouldn't
not.
know that unless you went through, you know, traumatic experiences, you know, actually being married or living with people. I would find it really hard to believe that would be a starting point, a baseline for people.
No.
It just wouldn't happen. I could see that scenario later in life, people who've been divorced, you have your shit, I have my shit. We're not going to have children in common. We're just going to do that. We're going to live our best lives together, but also while we do it separately. But I think you have to have had those experiences of things not working to come to that and understand that that's probably best case scenario. But that, I don't know. I would think that's few and far between, that being able to exist.
Right.
Definitely a later in life thing.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. But where I was getting at is the whole idea of house thing and we're doing this and yada, yada, yada. And now he's going to feel like he's getting the best part of me and da. It's like, no.
But some women might feel that way because there are a lot of men who maybe, well, I can't say. Okay, yes, I can, and I all of a sudden I have examples popping into my head about, you know, because I have friends who are married.
So I'm just an anomaly.
There are a lot of men who the woman does do more.
Okay.
Like the man is a lot less independent.
Okay.
So I can understand how that is a thing still. For you, it doesn't apply.
Right. So I'm
you know
speaking.
What I'm saying? You're not expecting
for my first
a hot
person.
meal on the table when you walk through the door.
Right.
You're not expecting me to do your laundry. You're not expecting me to, you know, well, we didn't even let ourselves get into arguments about cleaning the house because we established we're going to hire someone to do that. So it's not even a fucking issue. Right. So, but that's not the case for most people.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll stick with this point. If he was going to marry you, or she was going to marry
Yeah,
him, or he was going to marry him, or she was going to marry her, you're going to do that
I think so.
regardless.
I think so.
And if you don't do it, it's because it's not something that you wanted to do in the
Yeah,
fucking first place.
right.
Right. Now, that's not me trying to send a message your way, like read between the lines. Like, that's why we're not married yet.
No, I know.
that doesn't apply to
I'm
us.
not taking that
But
personal at all.
but I'm of the belief that if that person had the true intentions on doing that,
Right.
then it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Whether you live together or not.
I
Now,
think a man knows if he wants to marry you or
Right.
not pretty quickly.
now I can speak from firsthand experience. I think that there would be maybe we're not rushing to do it if you're already living with one another and you're doing this whole pseudo marriage thing and you're living together and you're not really married to one another, but
Yeah.
you're just living a married life. Then I can see a world where you're not in a hurry to do it because you're already in it. So
Yeah.
when life comes at you, you're not tripping about it, which
Right.
is what happened, with you and I. So I won't disregard that part of the argument where, hey, if you wait until you're married before you live with
But
one
I
another,
don't.
then you're more
But
likely
it's
to
not
be
an
hasty
issue if
about
nobody's
things.
pressed about it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like, we haven't done it because we
Mhm.
just haven't done it. But it hasn't been an issue.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like I could understand. But if it's someone who, if it was really important to me that I want to be married and I have to be married,
Right.
like then it would be a problem if we weren't married. But at that point, we would probably just be married.
Right.
Yeah, because I
Right.
mean, you know what I'm saying? We've already talked about all this, but I could understand for people who it's that important to them.
So let's meet in the middle.
Okay.
Maybe in order to properly split the difference with the people that are on the side of the fence of marriage before moving in and the people that are like, hey, you should try it before you buy it type of deal. Maybe it's important to have serious conversations about where you all both fall in line when it comes to marriage, right?
and maybe set
how you feel about
timelines.
marrying that person.
Yeah, and set timelines. Like,
Right.
okay, marriage is important to me, but I
Mhm.
also think it's important to live together. This is a
Right.
hypothetical. I say we give ourselves a year.
Right.
We're gonna move in because I think a year
Mhm.
is
And let's get engaged.
right. And let's get
Let that be a
engaged.
part of the engagement. We're getting engaged.
Right,
We're going to do this thing.
right,
But before we start planning for the wedding, before we get
Exactly.
everyone else involved, we're going to
Mhm.
live with each other for a year,
right,
right?
and see what happens.
And see what happens. Or we're not engaged yet because, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out that way. But we have it set where after being roommates for a year, then engagement is going to come.
Mm-hmm. Then
It's going to come.
yeah.
And then if it doesn't come, then now
Then
we
you
go, hey,
know.
so let's check back in.
Yeah.
We talked about this, and this isn't here yet. So
Yeah.
what's going on? What are we doing? Are we
Mhm.
just doing this thing? Because I don't want to just do this thing.
Right.
And then if not, then now we're on the same train of thought, and we're grooving together, and everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to
Yeah.
work out. But yeah, maybe that'll be it. You set boundaries, you try it out, you're going into marriage post honeymoon phase, because you're going to get that honeymoon phase in when you first move in with another, because it's going to be great in the beginning. It's going to be convenient, right?
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to go drive 30 minutes you know what I'm saying, and then drive even further to work in the morning, and you normally would come in, right? You don't have to do all that.
How
right?
did you really feel about all of this?
No.
Ray?
Actually, depending on where I was working, you were closer to where I was working, so
Yeah.
there was convenience. No, I did not feel inconvenienced at all with driving to go spend time with you. No. I'm just
I
being,
know, I know.
whatever. But it was a lot easier when all I had to do was just roll over. But there was also the times where it was really nice knowing that, hey, I get to sleep in my own bed and by myself.
Oh yeah, real nice.
I mean, not nicer than sleeping with you, but it was nice.
Okay, that's a
It was
nice
nice.
save.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you could say the same thing, right?
It doesn't bother me
What?
being in the bed with you.
No. I didn't say it bothered me. What I was saying is that it was.
I don't prefer you not being in the bed with me, and you know that. You know that I have a
I
problem
do
when
know
you're
that.
not in the bed with
But
me.
you know what? You know what too? You didn't have your own space. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
well, yes.
we were
now you went bigger than the bed.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
You went
I
bigger
did
than
go
the
bigger
bed.
than the bed. But
Yeah.
but you never had just a
No, I've
quiet
never
home where
lived
you
by
were
myself.
alone.
No,
Right.
I've never lived. It
I
sounds
did.
glorious.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Because I had days where I had the house to myself,
Mhm.
and those were some of the best days ever.
Right.
So I can appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
So I felt like I had the best of both worlds. Right. I
Yeah.
had you, and I had access to you when I was allowed to be around you, because that's what it was too. It wasn't like I was just choosing not to come over. It was just the way the relationship worked out in the beginning. It was
there was a
appropriate,
schedule.
right? It was appropriate that I had a schedule because of your children and XYZ and yada yada.
Yeah.
But those days that I wasn't there, it was like, oh shit, now I get to just blast music and I get to do whatever I want to do. And, just things that you would do when you live alone versus the things that you don't do when you live. But
What do you miss about living alone that you would want to do?
Blasting music.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, music was always playing in this house.
Yeah.
Always. Because I just listened to whatever I wanted to listen to. And I was just bumping music and, whatever. But obviously that's not going to happen because of the baby. But then also it's just respecting of people. I think that would be completely inconsiderate if I was just blasting music and you all just had to listen to what I was listening to. or not even because you're listening to but you just didn't want music fucking blasting.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. So that's really the only thing I miss is just being
and sleeping in your bed alone.
And talking to myself and yelling random absurdities.
You still do all those things.
I still do it, but no. It would be crazy. It would be crazy. Yeah, because no one. I was just yelling in a vacuum. No one's here. No one's paying any attention to me. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I never did the whole walk around naked thing. Too paranoid. I'd still fuck you with socks on. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta be. I gotta be. Ready.
I know you wanted the bed covering the window because you thought somebody would break in and try to rape you at night.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You're so paranoid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So walking around the house naked, nah, I never did shit like that. Because that would just be weird. Like if someone was jiggling the door, now I got to have an encounter naked. Or what do I do? Like just try to quickly just panic, put some pants on?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I like to walk around my
underwear,
panties.
Underwear.
Right. But like not naked.
Naked? Nah.
No.
And then sitting on my couch naked?
No,
that's
I don't
weird.
like that.
Sitting in a chair naked is weird.
No,
Even though
no.
I have a clean ass, but it's like, no, I don't.
No.
I don't like the idea of that.
Well, I don't want my parts, sitting where other people sit with their nasty shit.
Yeah. Well, what about you? What when you did live alone or when you did get alone? Silence. See, you enjoy silence. I enjoy noise.
I like it.
I
don't want to hear anything. Like I would play music. I like to play music when I clean, stuff like that. But like I just like quiet. Just because I don't really get that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
I know. Right. I know.
Like, to me, it's still quiet if I'm listening to music.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you know. But I don't know. But either way, it isn't wrong. But
no, I think it's just people who want to do the whole we don't want to live together until we're married. I think it's typically rooted in just an antiquated belief that's been instilled in you.
Right.
Which I understand. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I think if you really sit with that, like why? Assuming you know your partner, assuming
there's no motherfucking way that you you have a understanding of your person and how they really, really, really operate
No, until you live
without
together.
living with them. You
No.
do not know.
Because you can't.
You can't, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Because
see.
even us, we spent a lot of time together and nights together and days together. It wasn't the same as living together.
No.
And we spent a lot of time together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of sleepovers, but that's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing.
Or watch this. How does the person operate when they have to endure being around another person for a long period of time? Like that
Yeah.
that is a thing. Like
Yeah.
what does your tolerance level look like?
Right.
How do you handle this?
Yeah.
Because again, it's a completely different thing when you get to occasionally go home every night.
You're right.
Well, I guess if you're not living with one another, then it would happen more often than not. Right.
Or that you have the option, because sometimes people won't live together, but they'll stay at the other person's house for extended periods of time. But if some shit's annoying you or you want your own space, you have somewhere to go.
Right.
So
if you're not
there's
rocking with that person
right,
today,
yeah,
then what do you
or
do?
whatever, right.
But now when you're not rocking with that person,
Yeah.
now you got to be in the same bed as them.
Right.
Right? Because if you go sleep in the
Right.
fucking living room or in another room,
Right.
then
It's
now
a
you're
problem.
being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you do not know. I always say, until you've been in a conflict with someone, you don't know them.
Yeah.
You don't know them because at that point, that is when character is revealed.
Yeah.
All that smiley shit, no, we'll get through it, and all that stuff. That is honeymoon phase shit.
Yeah.
But once you've been dealing with something and dealing with something, and then now you get confronted, or now you're talking about it, and now you get to see how that person really feels.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hey, you know what? Don't listen to me. Don't listen to us. We don't know shit. It's not like we have experience in this.
No,
we don't
not
know
at all.
anything. We met when we were fucking 18 and
Yeah.
we
did everything right.
We did everything perfect. So what the fuck do we know? What do we know? What do we know? But yeah, I do have respect for the people out there that did it the traditional way and are holding it the fuck down. And I would imagine that if you are doing that and you're being traditional, you're probably going to also be traditional in the sense where you're not going to divorce one another.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do this till death do you part, because that's what Jesus says. That's what he said. Till death do you part, and we're not doing it any other way. So, and if you're going to go in with that way, then fuck yeah, wait till you get married and do everything traditional. But if you're going to be open to the idea of divorce, then you're still trying things out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, really.
If it's on the
just more
table,
paperwork,
because even with that, I know we sat here and at first we started doing episodes together, and we were talking about marriage. What's the difference? If I love you, then doing this little piece of paper for the government isn't going to make me love you anymore, and build bonds and yada yada yada. And then we came back a little bit later as we kind of matured in our relationship, and we're like, you know what? We understand the idea of marriage and why it's important, because it creates this commitment that's deeper, or deep enough to where we're not going to have an argument and you're going to be like, fucking, I'm
security,
out. Right?
A level of security.
There. Yeah. And that security then brings confidence into every single fight, because every fight isn't terminal, because there's a lot of things that need to be checked off before you leave. Because there's more at stake now. It's fuck. Is leaving this bitch worth losing half of my shit? Is it worth it? Now, if I could say yes, then fuck it. Then clearly you need to go. But if it's not, it's like, all right, no, I can get over this, because I like these things, and I want to make sure. I don't want to go through all that. Right? Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So, because we have that state of mind, and we're on board with the idea of marriage being something that is very, very important, then I'm not gonna lie, I completely lost what the fuck the point I was trying to make. Goodbye.
and that's it. It's a wrap.
and that's that. That's that. Thank you for rocking with us. I have no more, but this has been another episode of the Feelings First Facts Later podcast. What I'll do is I will listen to this shit and I will try to make that point again. God damn, I really lost that point. I'm normally good at,
You are.
but I was trying. I don't know if you saw, but I was like spinning the wheels because I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking about? I was thinking about marriage and all this other stuff and da 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 da. Fuck it. This is a podcast where we saying shit, but we ain't saying shit. Thank you for rocking with us. Peace.
Bye.